We look at the leaves. They dried a little. It is better to dry them completely so that they're practically dry. A few hours are enough for this. It is better wait a day, since they have dried out a little, not quite wet. Now we will try to tint them. What are we doing? What do we need for this? We take paper napkins. We will tint with oil paint. I take the foil. I always spread paint on foil. I feel so comfortable. So, we need a herbal green paint. And then some more red carmine. It already exists. We take the thinner solvent. A small amount of it. And dilute the paint slightly like this so that it is not too thick. I need it to get wet a little. We don't need excess moisture. Now, we take a leaf and start toning from the front side. If you feel that there is something superfluous, blot the brush once again. And so we go through the leaf. So, and we do the same thing with the second leaf. So, we tinted. Why do we need carmine? We will walk along the edges with carmine now. Now let's take a thin brush. The solvent. This can be done on some leaves, not all, creating such an effect of wilting, dull flowers. Although leaves are young, they are unlikely to be lethargic. In general, they have a reddish edge effect. So, let's try. Basically, it's the top. It can be done slightly on one side. Touching slightly, not hard. We don't apply a lot of paint. Here. I hope you see it. You can process here where there is a small depression. The leaf has its shape a little dented, not yet opened. We can do it here, in the dents. Color transition. Green, red, brown. We can do the same thing here. On this leaf. But we'll do it from the other side. Let's walk along the edge on this side. You can make small holes in general, as if the leaf is slightly torn. We didn't make that. If you feel like it, you can make small holes. And also tint with the red carmine slightly. There will be a gorgeous option. It will look beautiful, lively and natural. We've made one edge here. Here. You can leave the next half of the leaves just tinted green. Well, we walk in some places at 4 or 5 leaves with carmine now. rub. We will now roll the stem. We will roll the stem. This one here, small one. For this we need clay. We take a small piece of clay. Here's a, let's say, latex glue. Now we apply a small amount of glue. We take the clay and begin to roll in the stem, the wire. We press especially carefully here at the very base of the leaf, and we are stretching it. Again, I say, it is better to do this when the leaf is completely dry, because it can slide out if it is not, if it is wet. We make the legs not long, slightly short. Here's what happens. You can then, if you feel that an even leg is obtained, this uneven stem, you can take water and run it a little. Here. We take the second one. We do the same. We take some clay. We apply a little glue, a small amount of it, and we roll the wire. Carefully, leisurely, we remove the excess. Stem length is approximately 2.5 centimeters. Like that somewhere. We do the same thing with all the other leaves, and we will start assembling already. So, before we start building, we will do a little more. I'll tell you now. We will apply flock powder. Apply to the leaves. Why is this done? At leaves and flowers. There is always a fleecy, velvety surface on the legs, on the leaves themselves, on the back of the apple tree. Here. In principle, we can make the same surface for greater realism. For those who do not have flock powder, you can skip this. But if someone has a flock powder, I will show you how it's done. Flock powder is such a fine, fleecy powder. Fine pile. Sold in specialty stores. Everything for ceramic floristry. My pollen is velvety white. So, it is called flock also. What else do we need for this? We'll need glue. I'll take the latex glue. We will dilute it to make it more liquid. So, of course we need a brush, the flock, and there I have such a device, a sieve for tea. I use it for myself. It's more comfortable for me. Flock can be applied with a dry brush. What are we doing? I take the foil. I will dilute the glue on foil. So, we take a small amount of glue. Now I will show you the using at these leaves example. We take water and dilute the glue. You can use glue like that, but I think it's too thick. we will dilute it to make it more liquid. What do we use glue for? To make the flock stick. Otherwise it will certainly crumble. This consistency will be sufficient. So, now, before applying glue to the leaves, I'll take a flock powder. I take my sieve and pour a little here, a small amount of it. This must be done carefully because of this pollen, flock powder scatters very much. It must be used carefully. Do not shake too much. What are we doing? We take glue and apply. Let's say we need to flock the back of the leaves. I put glue on the back of the leaf. Don't be afraid, apply it boldly. I will also apply this to the stem of the leg. Now, I take it and start sprinkling it with flock until the glue dries. I type like that. The flock is distributed very evenly. Not too much. And on this side on the leg, we apply from this side where we have glue. That's what makes it so velvety. We leave it to dry. After the glue is dry, naturally it will not be visible at all. Only velvety will be visible, only flock powder which is applied. There will be a natural effect of such velvety leaves on the back. We leave it to dry. We take another leaf and do the same. We apply glue. If you don't have a sieve, as I said, you can use a brush. That is, gently dip the brush into the flock and start applying over the glue. Of course, it is obtained more evenly with a sieve. You can take another sieve, not necessarily like that. It is very convenient, by the way. Let's try again on a flower. How are we going to flock the sepals and the flower leg? Again, we take the glue. If you feel that it is getting thick, then dilute with a little water. We do all this after tinting, because it will be unrealistic to tint on flock. We apply the glue carefully. We take the sieve with flock and apply it carefully. If it suddenly falls on the petals, it's okay. When it dries up, where there was no glue, the flock will crumble. You can then gently shake it off with a brush. Here. It turns out so gorgeous, velvety leg and sepal. That's all. We leave it to dry. We make the same with all the flowers, all the buds and leaves. So, here are the blanks. Almost everything is ready. Buds, flowers and leaves. Well, let's start assembling. How will we collect it? Now I will show you the frame. Here is my photo frame. Here. I have such an idea. I want to make a branch starting from the bottom of the cord, and it will be bent a little to the sides like this. The twig will be on the left side of the frame, and here we will have a couple of leaves. Rather, a couple of flowers, a couple of petals to lie. Let's start naturally with a branch. Before attaching the flowers, we need a tape. We take the tape. We cut it off. We need to fold it and cut off a half. That is, we will cut a half to have thinner strips of tape. So, let's cut a half. We take one half. Stretch it a little to make it more sticky. So, how are we going to collect? Let's start with flour. So, we take one flower. So look, the length of flowers. Not the flower's length, but the length of this leg of flowers. The stem. Approximately all of it have the same length, 4-5 centimeters. About 4 centimeters. Somewhere it will be necessary to make it shorter. If you feel that it is not too long, then just cut, remove it. Or we will combine all this with other flowers and it will look more natural. So now let's take another flower. We look at the disclosure. Which one is more appropriate to be at the top? We connect two flowers. No. Let's connect the flower and the bud for now. So, we need a bud with a long stem. This one will suit us. I will arrange it in a decorative order so that it looks more beautiful on the frame, so that when the flowers are glued, they are beautifully arranged. The bud will be in front, then the flower. So take another flower. Now we are looking at how to place it beautifully and correctly. Place it just below, so that it was somewhere like that. We twist it. So. We look. So. Now, we need a leaf. We take one cast, which will be located on the side. We also attach it. There is one leaf on this side. Now we take another one. This one will now be on this side. We will grab it now. You can arrange it in different orders. It's my fantasy how it will be located. So, look if the floristic tape goes slightly higher. Now I will spin it back. Then you have to run it, so the floristic tape becomes invisible. Where it starts. If you see that the rest of the leaves go down to the bottom of the floristic tape, then we will have to roll it in. Run around this place to make it more natural. Then we untwist and we will have to roll in gradually. This is a process. All this comes as it arrives, as you build. What are we doing? Now, after processing these flowers, we are removing the floristic tape and we roll it at a distance of about 7 millimeters. Not more, because we will attach a new flower further. What are we doing? We are still pushing the flowers aside so that they do not disturb us. We take clay. We take the glue. So, and we need more water. What are we doing? We take very small amount of clay. Here's a pea. We wash with glue the place where the floristic tape is. And we begin to roll in clay. Carefully. We remove the excess if you feel that it is unnecessary. We simply cover the floristic tape so that it cannot be seen. Carefully. And if it doesn't work out very smoothly, we take water and wash it gently so that there is a smooth transition. Here's what happens. And that's all. We leave it to dry. It should dry out at least, not to stuck to hands. When the clay grasps a little, then we will screw a new flower. So, now let's start with another part, with another flower. The branch consists of inflorescences. We will get 3 inflorescences somewhere, hardly more, so that everything is harmonious. We take a flower while that flower dries up. You can take a piece of paper, for example. We twist a leaf like this. We take the tape, screw it on gently. So, now, we take the bud. We take this bud. It can be higher. It will be on the other side. We will combine as it seems to us it will be beautiful, natural. So, now it is another flower. Here. This one can be omitted below. I say I will have more like this. They will come out in different lengths. I will have a more fantasy composition. Why are we doing this? To make it look beautiful on the frame. If it is just a branch, then the legs are approximately the same length for all flowers, for all buds. Here. And here I adjust the length so that they do not stick out much on the frame itself, when it will be attached. So I have to change the length. The same thing you can do. Then we'll see how it will look, harmonious or not. We take another flower. Probably let's take a leaflet first. So, see, we create together. I figured in my head how it would look. Here. And now I'm trying to show you and make it real. So let's say into reality. And let's take another flower. We will fix it even lower. That's the distance. We can even do this. In general, we will capture at the very edge. Here. In principle, I looked through the branches alive, how they look. The legs are of different lengths. Stems. They're shorter and longer. Here's what happens. You can take another leaf only this leaf will already be located somewhere like this. Very close. I'll do it like this. You can bend it. How do we do it? I'll do it like this. So, the fact that we would that is a lot. Let's roll it all over with clay, and all these extra wires will be cut off. There will remain one main one, which will be attached, and we will cut off all these legs. Now we will carefully secure all this with floristic tape so that nothing falls apart. You can even glue it on here. So, we remove everything. Now we'll cut off this extra ponytail that we have. So, what are our further actions? We will now collect the inflorescences like this. So far only one is ready. We will collect them on a branch. What do we need? I took a wire that will be a twig. Wire thickness is 1.2 millimeters. It flexes slightly, but is strong enough to hold its shape. So, to start, what are we going to do? We will tie the inflorescences to this wire. This will be a short section. A small segment which we connect with another piece of wire and get such a twig then. So, how will we do? We will share it now. I'll take a small segment like this. We take a piece of wire, floristic tape, and double rewind now. We attach to the inflorescence carefully and tightly. So, probably a little lower. We had wires here, so first here, then it is not very easy to screw the thick wire. First, wrap a small amount. Now we wind the wire. We tie it well, tightly. The length of this branch will be quite short. Now we'll see how it looks approximately. Let's say this is the main branch and we need it to be on what distance? It was attached on this approximately. The second branch on which the inflorescences are. In general, it will be attached like this. Now we will collect the upper inflorescence, which we also have already begun to collect. We take the floristic tape. What do we need? We need the leaves again. We will fix it higher. So, we fix the areas below the mist area where we already smeared with clay, where the floristic tape was originally. The first leaf, the second one. Take the flower. Come closer here. I shape it so that it looks visually beautiful on the frame. The bud will be a head. One more flower is needed here. We'll take another bud here. additionally, to be in the middle. Like this. Now, what else do we need? Let's probably still make half-open one. Take the closed bud. Let there be a top branch with flowers and buds. Another bud. You can attach below one more leaf. It will be at an angle. One more flower is needed. Now we will do it. This one probably. We'll attach it here to be at this distance. So, what happens? It turns out the form that will be attached at the top, above the frame, at the top of the branch itself. Rather, there will be such a branch to the side. We'll try it now. Let's take a frame. What's my idea? Make a small branch here. Here, as it were, a branch of a twig. There will be a continuation of the twig, and there will still be a pentacle. Something like that. Now we'll try to collect a wig. I hope everything will look out harmoniously. So, we also take the flowers. So, I leave one flower for the very bottom. It will be below. Which one will we leave? Anyone in principle? Let's see. I leave this at the very bottom, perhaps even with a bud. So, in this option and leave, we will collect these at the top. Oh no, they will be below.